YouTube. On today's Postbag video there are 4 parcels. The first parcel is from China. It's a other type of parcel. It says stent ×1. It's 143 grams and it's $2.22. It is a phone holder on a 70cm arm. This clips onto the desk and this clips onto your phone. This will help me to take steady videos because at the moment I'm doing a lot of stabilizations in Adobe Premiere, so that'll be one less thing for me to do, and it will also allow me to encode videos quicker. To install this, you put this collar on first, attach the ball and socket, and then you screw it back on. I can't do this with one hand, so I'll do it off camera. So it looks something like this. There's protective foam padding on the clip, so that shouldn't damage the desk, and a rubber type padding, so it won't damage the phone. I'm sure this was advertised as 70cm, but that looks like 60cm to me. Okay, so now I'm trying the stand out, and both my hands are on screen. The next parcel is from Oldham, quite a large parcel. There's a white box inside, and inside the box there's another camera related device. It is a camera stabilizer and it has attachment for your phone, so I can use this with my Samsung Galaxy camera on my phone. This will help me to take steady photos and videos. You can adjust the weights on here. 3 weights would be for the DSLR cameras. You can adjust the position of where the camera is going to be here, and you've got another adjustment here to offset the weights. The next parcel is from a UK seller in Milton Keynes from a company called DataZoneDirect.com. Inside this parcel there's another smaller bag, and inside there's an invoice, and it's a bag of rack nuts, washers and nuts. There should be 100 in this pack. I'll count them off camera, but I'm sure there will be. I've just counted everything and there's 100 of everything except the bolts. There's a spare one. And finally, there's a parcel that was sent via Royal Mail 24-hour tracked, and underneath this is a Chinese label. It says it's come from Walsall near Birmingham. It's double bagged and it contains 10 server power supply breakout boards. Model STPO. You have a power switch, a capacitor, resistor on the back. It says slide switch until powered on, so I'm not sure if you meant to switch this off after the power supply is turned on. A bit confusing there. There's a power status LED and there are 10 PCIe breakout connections. It shows you the pin outs, so you got 2 long solid flat bars followed by several dotted bars, which represents the power supply pins, or maybe like that. So I assume it goes on this way. When you put this on, you stab yourself here on these pins. That's quite difficult to put in, and I think it's supposed to look like that. That would make sense because you don't want to block the vents. So now I just need to wait for one more part to arrive for these power supply modifications. Looking a little bit closer, the resistor is actually for the LED, so that's not important. I just need to follow the pinouts for the switch. So it looks like it's these 2 tracks, so it's the 4th on the right on the bottom and the 2nd on the top. So the switch shorts out those pins. It's a bit of solder, excess solder on there, and the numberings are a bit weird. It starts off at 3, goes to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and then 2. Some weird numbering system. I think that ends the Postbag video. Just when I thought I'd finished filming, FedEx have just turned up with a parcel. Only one parcel this time. I think this parcel has arrived very early. So I'm just going to get the measurements of this box to see if it matches what's printed. So that's a little bit more than 46.5, a little bit more than 30.5, and that's 21.5. So I'm going to try and weigh this parcel on this very small scale, and it weighs 5.3 kilos. Based on the previous Postbag video, it'll be a bit easy to guess where this has come from. My letter's a bit screwed up. I forgot to show this side after filming, which was the first side. It tells you that the L3 Plus has 4 hashing boards. Each has 2 PCIe slots, and the control board has 1 PCI slot for a total of 11 PCI connectors. Now I'm sure that 4 times 2 plus 1 is 9, not 11. The total power consumption of the machine is 800 watts. Each hashing board consumes about 190 watts, which is 95 watts per PCI slot. So that's 12 volts at 16 amps. And it says the power consumption varies with temperature and different hash boards. It says the maximum power consumption under the 40 Celsius is 850 watts. It says powering the machine with a standard server power supply, which is what I plan to do, will result at the wall power consuming approx 1000 watt, which is 250 watts per board. Okay, so either that's a bit of a scare tactic or it's correct. So my 1000 watt power supplies are fine then. This matters to some people because they're concerned about how much electricity they're using. So here it says you need to perform a visual inspection of the individual hashing boards to see if any of the heat sinks have become loose during transit. If they do, you need to contact Bitmain as soon as possible. The instruction says you can use one power supply to power up multiple boards. Number 2 says to make sure the cables are properly connected. Well, these cables can only go in one way. They're designed in a way where you can't put them in the wrong way around. Number 3 doesn't apply if you're using the same power supply to power the whole machine, but it basically says you need to power up the hashing board first before you power up the controller. It says you need to leave considerable space around the power supply and the miner. If the miner temperature exceeds 80 Celsius, it will enter protection mode and stop hashing. So at least there's a thermal cutout, so that's good. With all electronics that heat up, you're supposed to leave gap around 5 to 10 centimeters around them, depending on what it says in the manual. It says the L3 Plus uses DHCP to acquire an IP address, and it tells you that the username and the password are both root, which I found out without reading these instructions, and I've explained the back in my previous video. So the internal measurements of the foam padding is 28.5 centimeters by 45.5 centimeters. There's always an easy way to measure this one, by 20 centimeters, but if you squeeze it, you can get it down to 19 centimeters. The weight of the miner, including the internal packaging, is 4.7 kilos. The miner in just the bubble wrap is a little bit more than 4.5 kilos. The dimensions of this are on the website. Someone commented in my last video saying that the miners are dusty. There's no dust on the fan or on the heatsink or on this fan either. There are, however, several fingerprints on all of the surfaces. So now I have a problem. I have an Antminer but no power supply. Because Bitmain have sent this early, it has screwed up my timing on my other parcels. So now I need to do a bit of emergency fix. So you know that I have a server power supply and a breakout board, but there's something missing, and that's the cables. I do, however, have a power supply that is faulty with 6 and a 6+2 PCIe cable. I've already cut one of these off for the GPU mining rig cooling fans when I attach the server fans to it. I have 5 cables remaining. However, these are not plug and play onto the breakout board because the other end is soldered into the computer power supply. So I'm going to double check the PCB layout and then solder the wires straight onto the power supply. So that's the dual 5 PCIe surgically removed or butchered. I seem to be running low on UK IEC leads, but I found one at 5 amps with a 5 amp fuse, and I think this end is 10 amps because it's got 10/250. I think it'll be fine because I'll only be using between 3.5 to 4 amps depending on if it's 800 or 1000 watts. I think I've broken something. I can smell some burning stuff. I'm sure I saw some smoke. This does power up the power supply. The light's on and we're getting 12.3 volts. The bottom pins are positive and the top ones are negative, so that'll be easy to do. I just need to check the switch connections and I need to decide if I'm going to hardwire it or put a switch in there. I think it'll be easier to just hardwire it. Forgot to say before, there's a diagram showing the server power supply and the board and how it should be connected. The actual pins are the ones just before the end. And if I switch the switch off, there's no continuity. I tried buzzing out these two, but I'm not really getting anything. When I check on this side, that's what I need to do. This is a little trick on how to get a European pin plug to fit into a UK plug. This will only work on the thinner type of pins, not the thicker ones. I think the thicker ones are rated at 16 amps. You put in a plug in upside down, just connecting the earth pin. That will open up the live and neutral, so then you can put the plug in, and then you can just take the UK plug out. This soldering iron smells a bit funny, and there's smoke coming out of these vents here, and normally that doesn't look right, but some electronics do smoke first time you use them. They shouldn't smoke this much though. So after a long phone call just then, I need to reheat the soldering iron. When soldering, you normally need 4 or 5 hands, and this device in the background is a helping hand. It's alive. I just need to configure it and it should be okay. I need to keep an eye on the PCIe cables because I'm doubling up the current because I'm using the splitters. But hopefully this is only short term until the actual cables arrive. The TP-Link router is not happy, so I've just added in a Linksys router. and I have an IP address. So now all 5 L3 Plus are up and running at $126 a day, plus the $20 on the GPU rig. That's almost $150 a day. So running on the server power supply, it's consuming nearly 880 watts, so it consumes more on a server power supply. And the server power supply runs hot. So the Bitmain power supplies are better in efficiency and cooling, but these are a lot cheaper, about £100 or more cheaper. Okay, so the mount that I use for the phone is a lazy bed desktop table car mount. If you're buying this from eBay, in the UK it's called gooseneck, and I think it's called lazy neck in the US. So this came from a Chinese seller. There's one, before I start, I don't like the new layout on the Amazon website. The text is too big compared to what it was before. There's one negative review on here, and that's because these can fall over a little bit, but if you put a bend in the opposite direction, it will stay upright. So this was £2.22 with free delivery, and it's come all the way from China, but on the seller's profile there is a US address. This definitely did come from China. It has a 360-degree rotation, and it can clamp to most surfaces. It can support up to phones that are 9 centimeters wide, or about 3.5 inches, and any desk up to 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. The ones on eBay did say there was 70 centimeters, but this one doesn't say anything, so it's fine for it being a bit shorter. So as always, I use my Amazon gift vouchers, and I got this for free. Next is a camera handheld stabilizer made out of aluminium, or for those in America, aluminum. It's a 2-in-1 stabilizer, so you can use it on your smartphone or a camera or even a GoPro. It supports devices up to 1.5 kilos, and these are good because you don't need a battery, whereas a normal gimbal you do. The hard part of this device is the balancing, but once you've got it balanced, it's easy to use. I'm not sure what a mango diameter is, so this is 1476, and as you've guessed already, I used my Amazon vouchers and got this for free. Next is a pack of 100 cage nuts, bolts and screws with washers. These are M6 and the 16mm long. The washers are called cup washers, and I think these are zinc plated. It doesn't say that, but it looks like it is. If you buy these direct from Amazon, it's £10.98, but there are other sellers available. If you buy direct from Data Zone Direct, it's £8.50, and that's the one that I got. And again, I used my Amazon vouchers and I got it for free. Next is the Ethereum mining adapter breakout board, and it displays the model number of a server power supply DPS 1200 FB. These were £3.60 each with 99p shopping, and these were sold by a seller 5656YAO. The seller is from China. These support power supplies up to 1600 watts that run on a 12-volt system. The PCB is made out of 12-ounce copper. It has a capacitor on there and 10 6-pin PCIe outputs, and there is a picture of it connected to a server power supply. And here is a list of different types of servers that are compatible. So I had the DPS 800GB and a different power supply which isn't on this list. The total shipping was £9.90. I should have questioned that really. So the total amount paid for 10 of these were £45.90, and I used my Amazon vouchers, so I got these for free. The L3 Plus came directly from Bitmain. It was purchased on the 24th of August, and the expected shipping was the 21st to the 31st of October, but it arrived today. That's 5 days early. Most people complain about orders being delayed, but for some reason mine was early. On this order I added the extra $5 so that they received the amount that I sent, so $5 still went missing, and this was at a time when the Bitcoin was $4,200. So this took the same route as the last parcel. Bitmain sent the shipping information to FedEx on a Wednesday. They picked it up on the Thursday. It left China on the Saturday. It went to Germany, then France, and landed in the UK on Sunday, where it was finally delivered to me on the Monday at 11 AM, so that's an hour before the cut-off time. So back at the spreadsheet, I'm not going to enter a target here because the £30 for the power supply include all the extras that I need to make these power supplies, so the target will be zero there. These were £3.60 each, and there was 10 of them, so that's £36, and the delivery was 99p times 10, that's £9.90. I used my Amazon vouchers of £45.90, which means I got these for free, saving of £45.90 and a saving of 100%. So there's no changes to the totals. I've still spent £137, which is $178, and I still have £163, which is $211. If you've liked this video and found anything useful, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't done already, please subscribe and click on the bell for more notifications. And could you also like my Facebook page? And I'll see you next time.